We've seen a lot of games based on the Cold War, but Red Matter 2 might be our favorite. Even though there's no Tim Curry to make you laugh at the cheesy dialogue, and we won't give you points if you can figure out who Volgravia and the Atlantic Union are based on, the sequel to Vertical Robot's 2018 VR puzzle adventure game has something special to offer. Red Matter 2's exciting interplanetary exploration hides an interesting story that asks how far a country would go to win. It also has a focus on solving puzzles, interacting with objects, and telling stories about the environment that could only work in VR. Like most story-driven game sequels, we recommend playing the first Red Matter before beginning this one, but it's not necessary. Everything you need to know is explained in the game's introduction, which is friendly to newcomers. Playing as Volgravian agent Sasha Riss again, our journey starts right after the last one ended with an escape from a prison base run by the Atlantic Union. Beta, a fellow Volgravian agent, is the only other major character. He mostly tells the story through voice comms. Individually, these two don't stand out much, except for a few small changes in their personalities. It's what they find that turns into an interesting mystery. Sasha's investigation becomes connected with Volgravia's research into red matter, a mystery substance with the potential to be harmful. This is because Sasha discovered a distress signal from a buddy who was previously thought to be dead. In addition to this, it has resulted in an infinite number of supernatural occurrences, all of which Volgravia is eager to keep a secret as we steadily uncover a larger plot. Despite the fact that a few of the revelations, particularly the terrible conclusion, seemed a little bit obvious, we were never dissatisfied with the way the plot developed. It moves forward in a straightforward manner, without any surprising twists or turns. The fact that Sasha's consciousness was transplanted into another body quickly establishes the mood, which makes the introduction of supernatural aspects feel less like a surprise. Despite the fact that it just takes 6 hours to complete, Red Matter 2 makes the most of the fact that it is not the longest adventure by ensuring that its gameplay never outstays its welcome. If you have played the first game, you'll recognize some of the design elements in this one as well. Just like in the first game, Sasha's spacesuit comes with a pair of portable devices that can be switched between grips, flashlights, scanners, and ultimately a rifle. The controls are easy to understand, and the fact that the buttons on the in-game gadgets precisely replicate those on the Meta Quest 2 controller contributes significantly to the overall feeling of immersion in the game. The act of picking up goods has a realistic and precise feel to it. This means that you can't just pick up a hefty box like it's made of air. After all, Sasha isn't some kind of cosmonaut Superman. But you can drag them out of the way or put them on a cart. We had a particular instance where we cracked a vault's 4-digit code without any visual hints, which was one of the most nuanced applications for these devices in Red Matter 2, which we particularly loved. The solution was not to display the answer directly in front of us. Rather, it increased the controller vibrations once we selected the proper number. This proved to be a successful solution. These puzzle-solving aids contribute significantly to the overall immersion experience while also enhancing it through their contribution to the environmental storytelling. Sasha goes from one place to another, and the only NPCs she meets are the occasional robot as well as some holographic projections. Aside from the occasional chats with Beta, this means that Sasha needs you to use your observation skills to figure out what happened. Most places have notes that can be read, diagrams that show how certain things work, and well-hidden objects. Some of these puzzles could use more clues, though. Spending 20 minutes searching for a power source isn't ideal, and we got stuck on tasks like this a few times. We also think the puzzles in Red Matter 2 could use more variety. Flipping circuits to get power back on for the 5th time gets a little old, but in most cases it's done cleverly, and as a result, whether it's working out subtle clues for a safe combination or finding the perfect frequency for a mining equipment, taking your time is the most important thing, and hurrying through doesn't get you anywhere. Sasha also has access to a jetpack, which enables her to complete several of the game's platforming challenges. We had no problem with these challenges, but we can see how they would make other people uncomfortable. However, there is no need to be concerned because Vertical Robot has made accommodations for your comfort. The most immersive option is smooth movement, but the jetpack may be set to teleportation instead, which allows you to point and click to teleport to wherever you would like to be in an instant rather than moving smoothly. You also have the choice to play the game in seated mode, which eliminates the need to stand for the full 6 hours. This mode comes with a variety of customization options, including the ability to adjust the walking and turning speeds, as well as blinders that can be used to create a vignette around your screen. At long last, you get to choose which hand you use most often, so that everything is easier to reach. Actually, the only big problem is that combat doesn't show up until about halfway throughout the story. The Volgravia base is home to 2 distinct varieties of hostile drones: humanoids and floating mechanical eyes. Humanoids have specific weak places, such as the shoulders, that must be targeted in order to inflict damage on them. Floating mechanical eyes, on the other hand, compensate for their lack of armor by moving around the lot, making it tough to strike them. There are also a few annoying turrets that will shoot Sasha as soon as they see her. To use motion controls to handle a gun well, you need to keep your aim steady. That's fine for less intense parts like solving puzzles, but what about when Red Matter 2 starts firing guns? Not really. We've always thought that VR is a great way to play shooters, especially arcade shooters like the Robo Recall and Zombieland Headshot Fever. But most enemies aren't this hard to hit in the best games. A lot of the time, you had to shoot accurately and guess where they would go next. It's no surprise that getting close to them puts you at risk of dying. So these parts felt a bit long. Combat isn't frequent enough to significantly distract from Red Matter 2 as a whole, and you can adjust the game's difficulty on the fly if it proves too challenging. Exploration is where Red Matter 2 really shines, and its retro-futuristic art style helps a lot with that. It really captures the tense feeling of these abandoned bases. It can feel like you're strolling through a horror game, what with having to crawl through dark ducts and through halls that have been infiltrated by red matter. However, you don't have to worry about being startled here, because there are no surprises in store for you. After playing both the PC and Quest 2 versions, we were blown away by how real the graphics are on Quest 2. This is by far the best-looking game you can play without having to connect your PC to a headset. We were impressed by more than just the quiet times in the base. When you go to one of Saturn's moons, you can walk outside on a path. It was great to see the stars above and the huge gas giant below. Seeing how insignificant you are in the larger scheme of things provided Sasha's voyage a level of immersion that only virtual reality can depict, a sensation that remained striking when she visited Neptune's moon, Triton. Red Matter 2 is a great sequel that improves on the best parts of its predecessor. It pushes the meta Quest 2 to its limits to almost match the great graphics on the PC version. This sci-fi adventure set during the Cold War is one of VR's most polished games so far. It has an easy-to-use control system, great ways to interact with objects, and a great user interface. It's too bad that combat doesn't quite work because there are only 2 types of enemies, and neither of them is fun to fight. But that's just a side thing compared to the puzzles. They are just different enough and often fun to touch, which keeps the 6-hour story going even though most of the twists and turns are easy to guess. All of this leads to a strange mystery that kept me interested until the end, which was satisfying but didn't blow my mind. Of course, getting there isn't as crucial as enjoying the ride along the way. And Red Matter 2 takes us to some of the amazing locations. What are your thoughts about on this epic game? Have you tried this game yet? If you are looking forward to this game, then comment down in the section below, telling how excited you are to give it a shot. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, as that really motivates us to bring more amazing VR game videos like this one to you. Before you leave, why don't you check out our other videos as well? I bet you'll love it.